There are quick, simple ways of working out how much air we consume per minute under the water. Let's imagine that we are diving at 20 meters, 66 feet of salt water, and we note that the pressure reading is 160 bar, 2,400 psi. After 10 minutes spent at the same depth, we see that the pressure has fallen to 120 bar, 1,800 psi. This means that in 10 minutes at that depth, we used or consumed 40 bar, 600 psi of air, or rather, your air consumption is 4 bar per minute or 60 psi per minute. With this consumption rate, the remaining 120 bar, 2,400 psi in the cylinder will last another 30 minutes at that depth. But if we ascend to a shallower depth, where we will consume less, you will be able to stay there longer. It would be handy if we could also calculate our autonomy at this depth too. An easy way to do this is to use a single reference value, your own personal surface air consumption rate. To work this out, just divide your air consumption rate at depth by the absolute pressure of that depth. In the earlier example we looked at, the consumption rate of 4 bar per minute, 60 psi per minute, was calculated at 20 meters, 66 feet of salt water, where we have an absolute pressure of 3 atm. The surface air consumption rate in this case is therefore 1.33 bar per minute, or 20 psi per minute. To calculate the air consumption per minute at a given depth, so we can work out our air autonomy, just multiply the surface air consumption rate by the absolute pressure at that depth.